Welcome to a new episode of the Cartridge Club, where we discuss our game of the month with members of the Cartridge Club community. For the month of June, the CC played Killer Instinct. Joining me on the show, we have J-ChipShow and Captain Algebra. If you've played along, you can always share your own experiences in our community's Discord or across social media by using the hashtag Cartridge Club. Before I start the show, on behalf of the entire Cartridge Club community, I'd like to give a huge shout out to our Patreon Club backers like Joel Boyce and Barry Damars. To our backers and Patreon supporters, thank you. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter for the Cartridge Club, please look how you can do so at patreon.com/Cartridge Club.
Killer Instinct was a decent game for a fighting game. I'm not the biggest fighting game fan. In fact, the only fighting series that I kind of enjoy is Tekken. And Killer Instinct was decent. The graphics were nice. I liked the music a lot. I mainly mained as Cinder throughout the entire playthrough, just because I liked his look and I think his theme is just really cool. The final fight in that game is awful and made me not like the game at all. So, yeah, well, I'm sure we'll talk about that later.
Cap, what are your overall thoughts on Killer Instinct?
It's a fighting game. And like J-Chip, they are not my favorite style of games. I grew up in the heyday of them, in the 90s. So Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Killer Instinct, they were everywhere. And I think one thing that turned me off of them is how hard they are, because they were designed to be quarter munchers in the arcade. And I never really wanted to put the time in to learn them. And plus, when I went to arcades, I was more of a beat 'em up person. I went to the Simpsons, I went to the Turtles game. Fighting games really didn't do it for me. So I was stuck playing them on the consoles, specifically, obviously, Super Nintendo for the Killer Instinct game. And a D-pad is not as good as an arcade stick to pull off like quarter circle moves. So I think I had trouble doing the moves. Plus, sometimes the AI just seems to be cheating and just can know what move you're going to do. And it's just brutal. I did end up playing 2 games this month. I played the Game Boy port first, just because I thought it might be a little bit easier. And it actually played pretty well. And then I did play the Super Nintendo one because I beat it as a kid as Cinder, because I did like Cinder as well. But I only beat it on easy. And I want to actually, when I play games now, I only play on normal or higher. I don't count easy as a beat. And so I went through it and I tried quite a few people and eventually settled on Cinder again. And I enjoyed my time. They are well-made games. They all control well. They play well. It's just the difficulty is really high.
Sure. That was definitely a sign of the time in the 90s too. Because if it wasn't so brutally hard, you burn through it and you never come back, right? Kind of thing. It's
right.
The goal of a fighting game is to get good at it. Do you have any history, Cap, of I want to ask you this. Do you have any history of seeing it in the arcade as a kid?
I have no memory of seeing it as a kid. I remember seeing Mortal Kombat and like Street Fighter, but not Killer Instinct.
Okay. I only asked it because I know J-Chip is significantly younger than us. He's still a little wet behind the ears here.
Yeah.
So the main reason I asked that is because I remember seeing Killer Instinct for the first time when I was a kid. And I clearly remember where it was. It was at Disney World in Orlando, Florida. It was actually at the Magic Kingdom. It was near wherever it was. I'm sure it's Lilo and Stitch, the ride now, but it was called Alien Encounter back in the day.
Yes, I love that one.
And I was so scared to go on that ride. I was terrified. My sister went on it before me, and she was like, "The alien breathes on your neck." I'm like, "Oh, hell no, I ain't doing this shit." So like, my whole family was doing it. They're all going on. My mom, my dad, my aunts, my uncles, everybody, and I was too scared to do it. But right next door to that ride was an arcade at Magic Kingdom, and I clearly remember just walking around playing stuff, and then because that line must have taken forever, I burned through my quarters that my dad gave me. Gave me like I think $5 worth to go in that arcade. So I'm just doing laps. But I remember I think I may even just tried it out once because something stood out about that game, and like looking into the history about this game, I think I know why. I don't remember too many people playing. I remember that arcade being kind of quiet, but that game it's very loud at times, especially with the announcer saying combo, and going into it. But I remember walking past and either seeing somebody play or just the highlight of the AIs fighting each other, and seeing Orchid as a character turn into like a cat and like as a combo system, and I'm like, this game does look a little Mortal Kombat like. Just the draw, honestly, of like that game was Orchid's character to me. I mean, you see all the stuff like Spinal, like he's this little skeleton. It had a very unique 90s-esque cast of like different characters that stand out that aren't very boring, and they have unique abilities, and it looked like literally like a Mortal Kombat ripoff to me. Now, I didn't play it so much on the Super Nintendo growing up. I mean, I was aware of it, but I didn't get a Super Nintendo till late. But I remember seeing it at least in the arcade and probably trying it a couple times too. Not much, success. So after that, I remember I think I maybe rented it for the 64 and thought that was okay, but I never really tried KI2 in the arcade ever. Don't really remember seeing that one too much. But I've had Killer Instinct 2. I've owned it for quite a while. So it was definitely one of the versions of the games I was going to play this month. But I also was a huge fan of Killer Instinct 2013, which was a launch title for the original Xbox. Now, I didn't get an original Xbox on launch because it had a lot of bad press behind it. And I think I remember the E3 when they announced Killer Instinct 2013 for the Xbox. There was like some bad like juju for it because of the whole DRM nonsense, and it was going to launch as a free-to-play game. And it had a very confusing like paywall system where it's like, all right, you can play, I think it's Django essentially to try out the game. So if you like the game, you can throw them $20 and you get the first few characters. Or I think if you paid $40, you get the season pass or something like that. And I was like, I think I just tried the demo, the free-to-play option for it. And actually, I thought the combat was pretty damn good. But, Cap, I think you're in the same kind of general boat as me, and maybe J-Chip is as well. But if it's digital only, it's like it's one of those like hard purchases, especially at the time when you're gonna tell me like $40 for a digital game. I don't know. So I remember I didn't buy it. I think I just tried it out. Ultimately, after multiple years of it coming out, I think I bought one version of it with a physical copy, but it was only like season 1. And then they re-released it with a complete edition or definitive edition of the game, where it came with all 3 seasons, all the DLC, all the story arc, all the costumes. So I repurchased it again. And that game is phenomenal. I think it honestly is probably the best exclusive for the Xbox One. Now, that's not saying much because the Xbox One, I'm not trying to throw dirt on it here, but it has a very weak exclusive console. But honestly, after even replaying it for this episode, I'm pretty confident saying it's probably the best exclusive for the console. If you ever plan on purchasing one, I think it's a game, especially the definitive edition, where it comes with everything. So much so that it even comes with the arcade versions of Killer Instinct 1 and 2 on it. So you can actually try out the arcade versions here. That being said, I think after playing it this time, I've become more of a fan of the franchise. Now, I didn't play too much of Killer Instinct 1. I tried to squeeze it in. It is brutal. It is very tough, but I did manage to beat Killer Instinct Gold, Killer Instinct 2, and 2013. Now, there's more to go with 2013. There's 3 essential story passes or stories for each character. I've only beat Orchid's story 1 path. Like I think to unlock the second story one, I have to pull off a certain combo. It tells you what you have to do it to unlock the second one. But I got credits for the first one. I remember I played a little bit online a few years ago, like after I purchased it, and that's when I was really more into the game. But yeah, it was a franchise where playing it now, even going back to playing like the N64 version or Killer Instinct 2 even, I can see a few things that like Mortal Kombat now has taken from it, and even a little bit of Street Fighter. And I bring this up because one of my favorite fighting game franchises is Marvel vs. Capcom. And now the main reason I like that is there's like an endless amount of chaos in those games, and the goal is to keep setting up combos, right? And Killer Instinct has that. It's very very you're not trying to be like a Street Fighter 1-2 kind of punch set up a Hadouken. No, you kind of want to do something to keep expanding your combos. To me, that's what makes it more fun. Now, back to the difficulty for just a little bit here. I agree with you guys because like the harder it gets, like the AI gets really cheap. Yeah, definitely one of those things where I think I pulled off I can do it in 2013 because they made it a lot simpler to do a combo breaker. But between Gold and KI2, I was only able to pull off a combo breaker once, and it was actually on Gargos, which is the final boss. But it was almost like a combo breaker, then he combo breakered me right back because the AI is insane on the final boss. But yeah, like
It does feel good when you get that combo breaker, though.
Yeah, it does. Well, the thing about it is because when you see a long combo, you're just like, well, I'm effed here. I am completely effed. But if you can pull it off, it stops it right in place and opens it up for you to have a chance, which is very unique. Now, I know Mortal Kombat has that in its now. I know Street Fighter has that feature in it as well. Just the ability to stop an endless combo. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I guess I would say for the characters, because I know you guys mentioned Cinder is your main. Like I said, I've been drawn to Orchid, maybe because she had the correct design for a teenage version of me, right? But it was just, I think honestly really was the draw of like triggering a yellow cat for a combo or something like that, right? And it's just I don't know, it's very unique and fun once you start learning it. I did want to kind of mention back to like a little bit what you're saying about like like the 90s version of these fighting games. Things I would do like to practice like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat back in the day was you plug in a second controller and just kind of like play against that here. And that's what I think I even did. Well, there is a training mode for the new version on the Xbox version, but the old arcade ports, it seems like it's really hard to do because even like at least I didn't figure out in the time I played it how to turn off the AI from fighting me when I'm just trying to practice moves. So it was still a little bit harder to master like Gold and KI2's combat system. So one of Orchid's moves has not like changed. It's like the same exact one. It's like essentially like back turn and then kick, and she does a somersault kick on her hands to you. So I always kind of use that as like a setup for my combos. And I still wasn't able to figure out how to trigger the cat really so much in Gold and in 2, but I can figure it out in 2013. So, but it's the difficulty of 90s arcade / console versions, right? So I played, these versions, but I didn't really dabble so much with Killer Instinct 1, or really so much the Super Nintendo version. So, Cap, why don't you tell us a little bit about KL1 for the Game Boy and Super Nintendo and what you took away from it?
Yeah, we'll start with the Game Boy one because that's what I played first. You never know what you're going to get with Game Boy ports of games, but this one was really solid. I thought it controlled well, it looked well, and it was pretty fun to play as much as I can enjoy a fighting game. They don't have Cinder in it, which was disappointing. So there are some missing characters. So I kind of tried a bunch. I tried Jago first. I couldn't really get his moves down. And thankfully on the Game Boy version, there is a practice mode, so you could practice the moves. I just couldn't get them to work the way I wanted to. Then I tried, I think, Orchid. I tried Spinal. And then finally I settled on Glacius. And I didn't like using Glacius back in the day on the Super Nintendo because the moves, again, I couldn't do. But for some reason, I was able to do it a little bit better here. He had a nice shoulder attack where he would charge at him, hit him with his shoulder. He could also teleport under the ground and hit him with an uppercut, which was a very effective move. And you could kind of do it over and over again before the AI kind of caught on to it. He also had a really good move against jumping attacks. He would turn his hand into an icicle and uppercut at him and knock him out of the air. So I thought he was pretty friendly to work with as someone who doesn't play a lot of fighting games. And I didn't have a ton of difficulty other than fighting against Idol. I think it did take me almost 30 continues, which is one nice feature about these games is they do have unlimited continues. So as long as you are willing to put the time in and you can kind of brute force your way through it. So yeah, Glacius was really good. I really enjoyed it. And again, I was very impressed with it from a Game Boy standpoint. Now, for the Super Nintendo one, I started with Glacius, and it just didn't seem to control as well as the Game Boy version. I couldn't get the moves to work as well, or maybe the AI was blocking it more. And so I was kind of get frustrated. So I eventually made my way back to Cinder because when I was a kid and played it on easy mode, he's got his flying attack where he turns into basically a fireball and flies at the enemy. And if you do that over and over again, he'll hit them. He'll come out of it and punch them and kick them. And then you can do that teleport or that flying move again. And eventually he'll punch and kick and then uppercut him again. It's a really easy combo to do. That works pretty much the entire time on easy mode. On normal mode, it didn't work well at all. So I had to learn all of his other moves, like his little fire thing he shoots out of his hand. That was really good for draining the enemy's health. But again, it took a long time to actually use. And so if you got caught doing it and the enemy avoided it, you're opening yourself to get hit. He also had this really nice, kind of backflip kick that would work to get enemies out of the air. So I'd use that. And then one of his flying moves, if you use the heaviest punch with it, it would knock the opponent down, which was very helpful as well. But again, I struggled a ton with that one. That one I think almost took me 40 continues, mostly on Idol again. But still, I felt like it was rare for me to fly through an opponent. I usually took multiple times to figure them out. So it was frustrating. But again, I'm assuming it's very similar to the arcade port of Killer Instinct, and they just kept that difficulty up. Especially, Idol was super annoying. I know J-Chip kind of already mentioned this once about how he got mad at Idol and kind of made him not like the game. There was one time I had a full health bar. Idol did one combo and I died. I did not have a chance. I tried to do a combo breaker. I couldn't do it. But still, that was all it took. And I already was down to my second attempt to fight him. I was like, this sucks. And I think RNG is a huge part of these games because the time I did finally beat him, he barely attacked at all and was not very aggressive. So if the game was starting to feel bad for me because I was up to almost 40 continues. But yeah, that was very frustrating.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So in my experience, I only played this game on the Super Nintendo through the Nintendo Switch Online app, since it's on there. I think it controls well on the Super Nintendo or the Switch 2 Pro controller. I picked Cinder because I just thought he looked the coolest, and I thought his moves were easier to do than other characters. And like Cap said, I can pretty much brute force my way through most of the characters until I get to Idol.
Let's say, funny thing you mentioned about brute force, though, J-Chip, that is actually what this title of the game, Killer Instinct's original name, was called, brute force.
Well,
hey. Before someone at, I think. I watched a documentary. Let's just say someone at Nintendo came to the guys at Rare and suggested as the name. And then I think Howard Phillips gave him the thumbs up. Said, yeah, that's fine, because they didn't think it was going to get approved because of, the name Killer being for a Nintendo title, right?
I'm glad they switched it. Killer Instinct's much better in brute force.
Yeah. But you can't necessarily, brute force your way through Idol as much. He's just unfair, and he just refills his health, and it's like, man, I'm just not having a good time with this at all. And I remember I was talking to Ryan before recording this. I decided to play another playthrough to see if I can actually beat it before we record this, and I got to him, and I gave up. I was like, I beat him once, and I'm good there.
So he can refill his health?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the main boss of Killer Instinct 2/gold, Gargus does that too in the fight. Well, he does like a laughing taunt, and when he laughs, that's when his health bar starts creeping back up. Yeah, it definitely feels out of all like the combos and everything, like setting up characters, like I was able to do a move where I could get him like any character launched in the air, and I can maybe even continue a combo in the air with like her knee. She's got like a knee kick, and it would not hit. It was just one of those things where like it was like I was like a cheap feature, and maybe it's just the window and the frames or something like that. But it was definitely one of those things. I'm like, how can I not continue like juggle this character right here, right? And I'm not a person who is pulling off like 40 something hit combos in this game, right? It's just me doing like a 5 awesome combo, or like super. So I'm just doing the ones that I can, and then I try when I try. But yeah, he was refilling his health. I feel like he did a couple times to me where I had his health down, and I just could not get anywhere near him to like get within his range to finish him off. And the time I beat him on the arcade port, I don't know if I actually did it or if the game did it for me, but I got an ultra combo on my final like to take him down. And I got a trophy saying like it's like a trophy that you get in the game is pulling off an ultra combo. And it awarded me. So maybe I did. Maybe I did. I didn't do it knowingly. I was just trying because his life had this much left, and I was just going for a basic like just her regular head scissor kick. So in Killer Instinct combos, they call that an opener, right? You start with a strong one to open up your opponent, which then you would follow up with what they call a double, which is essentially you open them up and then you follow up with like a light punch, medium punch, heavy punch. So it's like I'm doing just that to do to do like a light, heavy follow up kind of thing. That's it. But I must have hit some combination of buttons because it just, and of course, I'm just gonna keep mashing the button. Basically, I'm just gonna keep going back and forth, mashing the button, and she pulled off an ultra combo on Gargus on the final fight, and I got the trophy. So I don't know if the game just rewards you on the last time because it's final boss. I have not ventured back to try it again to see if I could do it. But yes, and I'll say this, Cap, because I played like 3 different versions. I only beat the easy version on the N64 version because I was just getting my feet wet. I didn't reduce the difficulty. I beat KI2 normal on the arcade port. I didn't see an option even to change the settings, so it's just one of those. I'm like, all right, when we get through. For the most part, it felt pretty decent until you start getting to like Kilgore, or not Kilgore. Yeah, Kilgore.
Fulgore, right?
Fulgore, yeah. Sorry, Kilgore is in 2013. Yeah, so right when you get to right about Fulgore is when it starts getting cheap a little bit because he was doing a little bit of like distancing where he's shooting me with like lasers from a distance, and it's like spamming like the Dukins. Where if you couldn't get near him, it was kind of a harder thing to do. But once I got past him, then it was Gargus, and then that was a whole nother layer of difficulty. So, but I believe you're asking me, Cap, earlier before we started recording, like how does KI Gold play? And it plays pretty damn close to the arcade version. I did mention on my Blue Sky when I posted the Just Beat It for that the arcade port is definitely more mature. Maybe there's a little bit more blood, and there's things you can do like physics wise, like you're not going to see this. I'll give an example. This is probably Nintendo. Well, I don't know if it's the power of the N64 or if it's just the perverts at Rare versus well, and having additional like graphics abilities. Yeah, Orchid has before her fight, she has a boob jiggle physic. So like as she's lighting up, her boobs bounce.
Nice.
Yeah, so not so much in the N64, you don't see that. And there's if you pull off a Supreme Victory, she has a very seductive moan after. Now there's other female characters in the game. I cannot confirm because I only play as Orchid. She's my main in these games, but she has a very very sensual sensual and sexual moan after winning the game with a little video that plays. So yeah, so that was definitely like you ain't seen that in the N64 port of the game. So whether it be graphic limitations or just Nintendo saying not on this one, buddy. So here's another thing that like a comparison for Mortal Kombat for you guys, because I didn't know these were even in the game, because looking up move sets for this one, and up until today, like I didn't find a good website with a move list. So I could barely find one. I could find what Google AI tells me like the moves are to do. But the game has its own version of fatalities in this game. Were you guys able to pull off any fatalities in this game or no?
No.
I think I did with Glacius on the Game Boy, but I can't remember for sure. I mean, I definitely looked up the move list, and unfortunately, those older games, it's easy to look at like game facts and stuff, and people have written guides and walkthroughs of the game, so I was able to just look at the move list and use those. And I think I at least attempted them, but I might have only got it once or twice, and then it was just super hard to actually get it to work, so I just gave up on it.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't even know it was in the game until I beat it. Like, there's just doing research on this game, I've discovered a bunch of stuff that like would make me want to go back and try. Now, I could say I probably did it in 2013, only for the fact that I remember that I thought I was pretty good to begin with, but there is a auto combo feature that you have to disable for the 2013 version. So there's definitely a time or two where I pull off like a 68, 120 hit combo to end like a fight, and then you find out it's because there is a just auto one you have to disable, right? And I believe as long as you do the rhythm, you can just keep mashing the button, but you have to keep on with a rhythm and a tempo, right? So it's not like you don't have to worry about turning left and right. As long as you're just hitting on beat, you can keep the combo going on the 2013 version. It's a like for people who don't want to take things too serious, just have fun with the game, see what it can do, play with all the characters. It's a nice thing because once you see what the stuff you can do in that game, it's incredible. You just, it takes practice to get good at it.
Yeah. I kind of wish though, like that was something you had to turn on instead of having to turn off.
Yeah.
I don't like how they just automatically have it on for you.
Now, I could be the idiot and accidentally turn it on. It's been a while. It was not turned on this boot up version. But I remember it was one of those things that was on the game and I was like, man, I'm pretty good at this game, and no, it really was just having that feature turned on and, showing you what you can do, right? But I wanted to bring back the fatalities, or what this game calls no mercies, I guess. I sent a video to you guys for what Orchid's fatality was for KI1. Let's make it full screen here. Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, so even KI1, Orchid flashes her opponent as her fatality. So yeah,
that's great.
And I guess if she fights herself in the game, she's just disappointed she stomps the ground, like, so she doesn't flash herself if you're fighting like a shadow version of herself. So So anyways, I thought that was neat. Did not know that until today when I was creating the outline for this game, that that was just a fun fact for Orchid players. So anywho, I just wanted to share that out because apparently there's fatalities in this game that I didn't know. It's just, it was this it was KI is one of those games, like I said, because there was already like a stable thing of Mortal Kombat. It's already like in the zeitgeist of pop culture, right? It was Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, where you're one or the other. I didn't know too many people who were actually Killer Instinct fans, but it did have that rare studios vibe to it, which it was always kind of around. I mean, there's a lot of hype around it when the 64 was coming out. It wasn't a launch game, but it had to be close because I think it was on the box for the console.
I think I was doing a little bit of research today too before, and I think they also have like humiliations in Killer Instinct, so kind of like similar to like the friendship type stuff in Mortal Kombat. So yeah, they call them humiliations. Again, that was something that I never looked into or like how to do it, but I did hear about that.
Yeah, so I kind of had to look into when I was looking into this, and I again have not pulled it off, and I think it's on KI1 with Orchid's fatality, right? So I have not pulled it off, but the trick is to how to get the fatality is you have to get them within that danger part. There's a part when their life's getting close to the end, the announcer will announce danger. That's the window where you can pull off. If you pull off the move that is their fatality, That's the window. Their life. It's not like Mortal Kombat where the life's over and then you hit it. When you have that thing, you have to get it within that little bit of life left in the game. Where if you can pull it off and execute it, that's how you trigger. Either you're right, like the No Mercies, and what was the other one called? Humiliations. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, you're right. So it has a little bit of both. I just wish I guess I wish I knew more about this, before even playing this time, kind of thing. So I probably should have researched this stuff. I just wanted to get my feet wet, when I was playing these games. I just want to get in there. So
I know. I wish I had actually played through Killer Instinct Gold. I mean, that was my plan because I think I finished the Game Boy and the Super Nintendo version pretty quickly in the month. I think I finished them on the same day in June 7th because it only took me about an hour to play through both of them because it's actually a short game. There's not a ton of fights. It's just the difficulty made me keep redoing fights. But then I did find a copy of Killer Instinct Gold with the whole goal to actually play through it. And I had just already gotten past Killer Instinct by the time I got it. And there was still a couple of weeks of the month left. But I was just so past Killer Instinct, I didn't want to stop what I was doing and go back to it. But I will say this about the series, even though I'm not a fighting game fan, I feel like this series is something that is really rewarding if you get good at it. The combo system is really cool. Like if you watch somebody play it who's really good, or even obviously watch the AI when they fight you and hit you with all these combos, like it's super cool. They're yelling awesome and super and that cool voice. I'm like, you just feel really good if you get a big combo. So yeah, I think if you master this game, you'd really like it.
Let me ask you this, Ryan. I did not particularly enjoy my experience with the game until the end. Well, specifically at the end. But would you say that it would be worth going to play Gold on the Xbox One Killer Instinct games, even though I didn't really enjoy my time with the Super Nintendo one?
I think 2013 is a great window to the franchise, because the combat is more fresh. It's not as dated as kind of the other ones. It's more beginner friendly. It's not even with off the automatic combos being off, it still is very beginner friendly. Now there are, I believe, for the story modes, essentially it goes easy, medium, hard for the story modes, and I think the fights, it's maybe like 6 or 7 fights, but they want you to do it for every character, right? So essentially, let's just say it's 18 fights for the character. I could be wrong; it might be a little bit more. That still is a lot, and it's got a big roster after 3 seasons. And the characters they have added to it throughout the seasons are a lot of fun too. Like what's called Rash from Battletoads. He's a ton of fun to play as in the game too. Rash. I don't think the guy from Gears of War was really my kind of bag, or the guy from Halo, but like a lot of the characters are a lot of fun to play with in 2013. So I would say if you were interested in getting your feet wet, I would say maybe start with 2013. Like if you want to explore the franchise and you see potential, I would say go with 2013. Gold, I think, is good, but it's going to be, well, I'll say this. Gold was easier. Gold in KI2 I thought was easier than KI1. And you get better. Remember, it's one of those things where one came out first, the second game come out, and maybe it's making a little bit of improvements, but the difficulty still is there. Like I beat it, and I don't know how many credits I had on Gargus, because it felt at times like there's so many unblockables on that final fight, but maybe it's still doable. But I really do like KI2. It was hard. Honestly, I probably should have started with KI1 and went forward. That's what I guess I'm trying to say here, because trying to play KI1 last, the arcade one, it felt very primitive and harder to do some of the combos. So I would say maybe if you even got any hint of like out of the game, maybe worth dabbling the other two. I just think 2013 is just like the chef's kiss. It's one of the best fighting games I've ever played. Like legit. So
awesome.
Yeah.
One thing I did really like about Killer Instinct is the soundtrack. Cinder was my favorite theme, but who's the Mad Max looking guy with I think with the 2 axes in his hand?
Thunder.
Yeah.
Thunder. His theme was really cool. The opening song that you hear when you start Killer Instinct, I think is incredibly badass. So let me ask you this: does the soundtrack like improve from each game, or just stay consistent?
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%.
And also, what was everyone's favorite track?
So you said Cinder, right?
Yeah, Cinder.
Cap, did you have a favorite track?
Yeah, I mean, the soundtrack's amazing, the whole thing. In fact, the Super Nintendo version did come with a CD called Killer Cuts. I had to have had it at some point in my life because I know I got this game brand new at some points, but I have no idea where it is. But I really like Idol. Cinder is really good. Glacius is good. Jago is good. But I think the one I like the best is Spinal because it gives me almost like the movie Predator vibes.
I can hear the Predator in that. Does he? So in the gold version of Killer Instinct, and and like KI2, the arcade port, he's kind of like a Shang Tsung a little bit, where he can morph. He was doing a lot of things where he was like doing a shadow version of myself and turning himself into Orchid and fighting me. I was curious because I don't think he does that in 2013. I was curious if he does it in KI1.
Yes,
right, well,
he can do it. Yep.
So he can essentially, he's a little bit like every character is a little bit like something. I don't want to say, everyone's got a little bit of from some other fighting game. Like Django, even though he's got a sword, kind of is like a little bit of like a Ryu, a little bit. Or even like I think his uppercut kind of sounds a little bit like Ryu, But again, my main is Orchid, and her theme for Killer Instinct 2 is one of my favorites here. Completely different from Killer Instinct 1. From my understanding too, that there is a each character, they kind of focused on having a theme for each character. Like Orchids is more of a dance theme for, I guess, if it's the character because she's in a leotard or something like that, right? I wanted to find out. I found out something else today while doing the research for this one here too. And I know you guys didn't really dabble in 2013's Killer Instinct, but the one thing I found out today is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the composer Mick Gordon.
No, I haven't heard of him.
He did the music for Doom 2016.
Oh, nice. I love that soundtrack.
So, and apparently he did the soundtrack for Killer Instinct 2013, which, like, let me play it just a little bit here to see. I'm sure you can hear it because it's the same Killer Instinct theme, but with a Mick Gordon twist here. So let's see if we can pull this up here. think the music in general is pretty dang good for this game. So yeah, I 100% agree with you, J-Chip, on that one. Did you guys have, besides the final boss, have a character that you kind of struggled with against or gave you more of a harder time?
I remember
trying to think.
Thunder being kind of hard.
As a kid, I struggled with Thunder a lot. Not this time. Falgor gave me trouble, and I think Saberwolf. But again, I'm trying to remember both separate games, and the different characters gave me different troubles on each one. But I think for sure Falgor on Super Nintendo and Saberwolf, and then maybe on Game Boy, Glacius might have given me some trouble, and then that's when I actually switched to Glacius.
Yeah, for me, it's in like every rendition of the game, it's actually Saberwolf. And I guess once you find out that each character has like its own strength and like that they are the best, I guess Saberwolf is the best at like close quarter combat, like trying to fight him one-on-one. Because I guess he's got a wide range and I guess he's like, I don't know, just his attacks come out at a faster frame that he's actually like designed to be the fastest, like close quarter guy. I've always kind of just struggled with him because he interferes with how I want to play the game. And I did I guess back to like music and for just a second. I don't know if it was music, but more of sound effects. One thing that was neat about at least Killer Instinct, and I think it actually has it in Killer Instinct 2. I should say KI Gold in Killer Instinct 2 is there are like objects you can hit. Like I remember, I think I got like spiked in the air, and like on Saberwolf's like level in the chandelier, it's made out of metal, so it kind of makes like a creaking noise when you hit it. I believe there are atmospheres like that, like you can break through the walls. I just never triggered it in this version of the game. I know there are kind of like your fatalities as well, that like if you're on a certain stage, like if you die and they pull off whatever the I guess the fatality on you, like you'll see like you fall into your death or something like that. I wonder if KI1 had that or something as well. You guys know? Did they kill you and did it to you at all?
I don't remember that at all. I don't know, J-Chip, do you?
Yeah, I don't remember either. He probably did, but yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, there's definitely on that final stage. They purposely send you down the wrong way with the camera angle, pointed at Orchid's Fanny in the direction, clearly designed on purpose.
Of course.
So that's rare for you. All right, Cap, what are your final thoughts on the game here?
I think overall, it's a good fighting game. Like I said, I enjoyed a lot of what I played. It just got so frustrating. The soundtrack is amazing. I think there's a very good wide range of characters that kind of have their own good aspects. So you can kind of choose who best suits how you like to fight. So I did think it's definitely worth playing. I'm interested to see how the difficulty goes as I play the other games. Because I've heard Gold is pretty hard. I was actually reading through the N64 guidebook from Pat Contry, and whoever wrote the review for the game in there said like learning the combos was the kind of a must to beat that game. So maybe Ryan, you can answer that. But so I've heard difficulty is still there, but I feel like I've heard just in general with more modern games, the difficulty is kind of toned down on fighting games since obviously they're not quarter munchers anymore. I'm glad I played the two that I did, but it's not going to make me want to play more fighting games.
Sure. J-Chip.
Yeah, similar to Captain Algebra, like I'm just not a big fighting game fan. So my own personal bias kind of gets the better of me when I'm judging this game. I acknowledge that a lot of people really like this game, and I think it's cool. Just it's not for me. I don't want to, I guess, take the time to learn how to get better at the fighting games. Not a franchise or a genre that I'm into. That being said, I really like the soundtrack. I think it looks pretty good for the Super Nintendo, and I think that's really about it. I would be interested in playing the other Killer Instinct games, but who knows when I'll get around to them.
Yeah. For my overall thoughts, this is a game that I had probably really low expectations in just from like my history with it. Just only really caring for 2013 version. But actually, I really liked it more. I play with it. Still probably pretty hard for me to get into KI1. And I guess that comment you were saying about the combo system, I think so, but you don't need to have like the ability to do like 7-hit, 30-hit combos. I think you just got to be able to do what, like I said, they deem a opener and then like a follow-up. So essentially open the guy up and follow up with like a 2-3-hit combo. So I would say you look at what their strong ones are. Most of the Killer Instinct combo systems, especially in 2013, are more just quarter turn or back forward punch kind of thing. It's like a strong starter. And a lot of those for KI Gold and KI2 are kind of like that as well. So as long as you have like one or two that you know how to do, where you can just follow it up with either a light, medium, heavy punch or kick, I think you're gonna be fine. I think that's just the ultimate goal of like the game. Now, like you can expand on it, you can get better, you can set up 2 combos. I didn't do that. I'm just telling you how I beat the game generally, you know. So but yeah, if anything, my overall thought is play 2013. It's fantastic. Buy yourself, like if you have an Xbox One, you need to own this game, especially that definitive edition, which comes with every single version of Killer Instinct on it. And I think it even comes with the soundtrack as well on a CD. So keep in mind, if you're buying it, it comes with 2 discs. But I'm glad I played it. Yeah, it's a franchise now that kind of expanded my eyes, where I think I might like it more than Mortal Kombat now after playing it here now. Like, no, Mortal Kombat's got more pop culture reference and everything too, but for gameplay and like playing like these versions of the game, I think I like them more than probably the arcade 90s versions of Mortal Kombat. So I like to reiterate that July's game of the month will be Lunar. If you played along or just want to discuss the game with us, make sure to let us know by using the hashtag Cartridge Club on whatever social media platform you frequent. For those of you who want to get a head start on August's game of the month, we'll be playing Kingdoms of Alamar Reckoning. Season 14 starts in September with Jackson Daxter. If you're interested in being a guest on the show, please reach out to us. We're always looking forward to having new community members on to talk about the games they love. To those of you interested in supporting the club beyond a review on the podcast app of your choice, I'd like to mention that the club is entirely funded by pledges made from members of our community. We're extremely grateful to the supporters, and if you're interested in becoming one of them, please look how you can do so at patreon.com/Cartridge Club. But anyways, that's the show, everyone. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my guests. Captain Algebra, where can we find you online?
I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube. I'm in the Cartridge Club Discord. I've got my own Discord. And I'm pretty active on Twitter and in the Discord talking about the games of the month.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
J-Chip, where can we find you online?
Yeah, you can find me in the Cartridge Club Discord. I also have my own as well. I'm on YouTube. I review games, I review anime, and I also started my own podcast. And I'm also on Blue Sky. I'm pretty active there. Yeah, that's about it.
Thanks for being here. As for myself, you can find me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and the Cartridge Club Discord. That's everyone. Thanks for being here. See you night.